stuff at the same time. So I thought, so I was doing that, and then.
When did you write this one?
Oh,
How old were you?
probably one of the first. I was 40, probably 39, 38, something. Okay. It was probably one of the first tunes like that I wrote. So then I was doing, I did that. But at that point, there was the weakness in what I was doing. There was no melody.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing about that melody is it's there, weaving in between. But you have those moments to still do the rhythmic thing, and it's.
Yeah, but I think personally, for me, it was like when I was analyzing my own playing. I said, "Yeah, my rhythm is. I've got some really cool rhythm stuff.
Yeah,
I got really good left hand. I can play all kinds of bass stuff, but I had no melodies."
Okay.
But when I got to this part, it was like. And I decided this was going to be a solo piano record. I didn't want to have somebody else doing the melody. So I said, okay, how do I do this? So the cool part is that it's like Bach, where you can set up something. You don't have to play every note. So you can set up, a lot of times if you even the preludes and fugues and stuff, if Bach sets something up, you don't necessarily have to play all those voices. He'll take some parts out of it. And because he has set it up for you, you hear it.
Okay.
So that was it. So I was in a bind. Okay, I got two parts. Mm-hmm. I got two hands.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Well, that's when I realized that my teacher was developing my thumb.
Yeah.
So that I got a thumb that can do a lot of different stuff.
That's right.
Very,
kind of
very
crossover kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I do a lot of this kind of stuff, inner voices and stuff like that. So I realized I could also do by, mm-hmm. that's part of the chord, mm-hmm. and I don't have to play the whole chord. I've already got bass and some harmony.
Yeah.
I've got an inner voice. And so you've been doing that too when you play the piano.
Yep.
You understand that your wrist goes this way too, as well as
yeah.
this way. So you can stretch like that, and you're one of the few that I've seen do that. When people start to look at my pieces, they say, "Oh, it's too hard. I can't do this."
Yeah.
I say, "Yes, you can."
They say, "Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's the looseness of the wrist."
The same way with it. So I had all that stuff. So then I thought, well, here's it's really about as simple as you can get. But
yeah.
I can play it with my little finger. No pedal.
Yeah.
And if you accept the limitation that you're only going to be playing the melody with your little finger.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That clash, yeah.
And you don't have to have full. Part of the, you're talking about the sense of openness. Part of it is you don't have to play all those notes. You don't have to play like these dense chords and stuff, and that actually gives you more of an open feeling of where we are right now in the plains than stuff like that, which I could do later. But and then as I started playing it more, I started to develop the left hand more, thinking about actually the bass player for the Scotalites, who does all this really cool stuff. And he's probably 75 at this point. And I saw them play in San Francisco. He was white hair, stood right in the center. First time I've seen the upright bass player be like the focal point of the band. And
yeah. Boom. There he is.
Just play that stuff. So. It's really simple. in here that I don't hear many people do, if any, is there's a thing that the repetitive stuff that Jocko did, which is a little different. I mean, he would do this da-da-da-da, faster stuff. So I got to the point where so the trick to that is loose forearm.
Yeah.
In other words, if you play like this,
Yeah.
you're going to get tired really fast. So there's a bounce thing. And bringing the elbow up and down means that I can.
Yeah.
It's like cocking a gun, you know.
Yeah. You're using gravity and weight more than muscle force.
Yeah, and I can do that forever.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, you know, if you actually play that stuff and you hold your wrist and your forearm, and if your forearm gets tight, then you got to figure out how to relax it. And that's one thing that my teacher, Margie Mayotte, did, which was teach me that once a note was played on the piano, you can't do anything else. That's it. So if you do this kind of stuff, it's done. So, but it took like really tedious work from her, and this was something that she learned, you know, when she was Olga Samarov-Stokowski's assistant at Juilliard. That came, I think, from Madame Samarov, and that was that you relax. And so she would have me do these things, and put my hand on my forearm so that I knew I was relaxing because you know you have to have an initial downward thing.
Yeah.
And you could tell Margie May's students by the way they play it. So you have that initial. Once you play the note, you're done.
Yeah.
On the piano, you can't go. You know, you can't.
Yeah, you can't vibrato and all that stuff.
Strong.
Yeah.
All of that is wasted energy, but it's also theatrics that's not particularly helpful. So that was one thing. So then I started doing this bass thing. So to break it up, instead of, I think when I first started playing the piece, it was more. And then when I started doing this other stuff, you know, more like a ska player. To this part, I want to keep this going.
Yeah,
and I was down here, but I wanted some different thing, so that I was stuck again. Okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
So.
Call and response. Yeah.
Boogie, but also Jocko used to do that kind of stuff. So basically it's like you figure out what it is that you want in your head, and then you figure out how to play it.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, here's what I play.
And here's how I'm limited.
And that's your limitation.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be limited by what you can play. You want to be limited by what you can hear. You can hear a lot more than you normally can play.
Yeah.
I mean, every composer has their own hand. You have your own shape of your hands. Like your fingers are like, you got good piano hands because your fingers are almost even at the end there.
Yeah.
So you can do that stuff. But Alicia de la Roja is like little tiny hands. So you got, you know, different composers. Rachmaninoff had gorilla hands.
Yeah.
You know, Chopin had these hands.
Yeah.
Liszt had these hands. Bartok had these hands. Bach had these hands. So you don't want to be limited by what you can play. You want to be limited by what you can hear. You know, so that's the trick. You start with an idea, then you add something to that. You say, does this come in? This is necessary. I have to have this in. How in the world do I figure out how to play that? So then, rather than just playing something, you start with these other parts and you figure out that's where the work comes in. That's where the craftsmanship comes in. You figure out how to get from the. And then as you play these tunes, you know, you don't want to get sick of them. Play the dang things for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you change tempos if you want. You can play it really slow. It's pretty fun that way. You know, and then I started.
I love the beginning part.
And that's where this phenomenal. And
Gershwin did a little bit of that with
he
the
did.
Middle of Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah,
with
absolutely,
that whole section.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Cabano stuff. You know? Okay, that's pretty cool. How do you get out of that? Well.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you switch the beat around. So that's where that ambiguity of the beat is. Is that the offbeat or is it the downbeat? Okay, that's big. That's your big engine sitting there.
I love those wide chords.
Yeah. And that's.
I think that's one thing I was thinking of when I in the middle of that.
I saw that. That was very
that
cool.
wide roll sort of thing.
Very
just to
cool.
pull
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I like that
yeah.
a lot. That was very neat. Okay, and then this one.
Well, that took a lot of practice to speed that one up.
That's the thumb.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where am I? And you can change those, you know, however dissonant you want to get. Trick is again, you know, you gotta just like this stuff. It would be really easy to get tight, but if you just let your, you know, basically what you're doing is you're doing something your teacher told you not to do. You're flopping around.
That's pretty much my life.
You're flopping around.
That's why I switched from jazz from piano performance because.
Well, if you watch jazz players, you can learn a lot from that because jazz players are always ready for whatever happens.
Exactly.
So be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah.
You can't assume a particular deal. You know, and by playing other composers, that's how you also free yourself up. You know, Bach used to do Buxtehude and Schütz and all those guys before he played because they didn't play like him, and that would just shake him up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we do with this stuff. So then you're on that, and this is the part where you can keep a through written deal, if you want, but it's also the time when you can improvise.
That's the part where I liked where you opened it up.
The listener already knows that.
Stuff. That's there.
That's there, so you don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Just do it every once in a while.
Exactly.
Jocko used to do that.
Yeah.
Then the part that I've been doing lately actually came from another that you can hear. Some Liszt pieces that I was playing. He was just later on.
He's using the resonances and
he was really just it was more an effect
than
anything else.
Yeah.
And something about the fourth and the fifth and the octave that just it builds up in there. You can't really do it on electric piano.
Mm-hmm.
Only do it. So then the obvious one is as that train goes past on.
And you're never doing you're an A moving up to D with each of these, but you never do a 1-3-5 triad. You're more doing an open fifth.
Yeah.
On that A.
Yeah.
So you're playing with the whole. This isn't major or minor. It's just sort of.
True. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And also just it gets these overtones just kind of whipping around so that something like the whistle can come out of that.
Yeah.
It's up here somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? If you really start just beating the heck out of that with the pedal down, just all kinds of clangorous stuff happens. It's not just one note.
Yeah.
It's effect, which just fascinates kids at a very early age. But I don't have any way to go down, which is what the Doppler effect would normally do. So I go. Just to try it.
Yeah. It's the ringing of the rails.